Let's solve the problem together. Let me start with this diagram, which is going to depict the aggregate demand function in inverse form. So the PD of the market as a function of quantity, and the marginal cost of the firms. And we know that in a competitive equilibrium, this is the total quantity produced, which is equal to P max minus mu divided by M. We also know that this is the equilibrium price. So we know that the area of the triangle in equilibrium, in the competitive equilibrium, the consumer surplus is going to be equal to 1/2 times this height. Remember, this interception is P max, which is P max minus mu, times the quantity, which is P max divided by M, so square over 2M, and that the producer surplus is 0. That's what happens in equilibrium, in a competitive equilibrium, regardless of the number of firms. Now let's see what happens in the oligopoly case. I'm going to use a different color. We know that in the oligopoly case, the total quantity produced is going to be equal to F over F plus 1 of Q star. We've seen this before several times, so I'm not going to repeat the derivation. And we also know that the equilibrium price in this particular case is going to be equal to P max over F plus 1 plus F over F plus 1 mu. Now, consumer surplus is going to be given by this area. Oops. In the case of the oligopoly, and producer surplus is going to be given by this area. So let's compute what those numbers are. Consumer surplus as a function of F in the case of the oligopoly is going to be the rectangle, so 1/2 times that distance, so F times F plus 1 P max minus mu divided by M times that height, but that height is going to be this price minus mu, which is equal to P max I apologize. This height is P max minus this, which is equal to F over F plus 1 of P max minus mu without being divided. So the total consumer surplus is 1/2 F square over F plus 1 square P max minus mu square over M. Okay? And I will interpret this in a second. Now let's do the producer surplus. In the oligopoly is that rectangle, which is just going to be that distance, F over F plus 1 of P max minus mu square over M, plus that distance, which is 1 over F plus 1, sorry, there's no square there, P max minus mu, which give us P max minus mu divided by M square times F over F plus 1 square. So please notice a couple of things. Now let's interpret. This term, okay, you can write, by the way, this is equal to, sorry, this term is the optimal consumer surplus, and that term is going to 1 as F goes to infinity, and in particular it's going to 1 fairly quickly. It's going to 1 like this, okay? So by the time you have 10 firms, you are pretty well up there. This term is also going to 0 with the square, But one important thing to notice is that the deadweight loss was going before to 0 by 1 over f plus 1 squared. In these particular cases, these terms are going to the optimal consumer surplus, so for the equilibrium or the competitive level of consumer surplus a little bit slower because it has this f squared term in the term, and the producer surplus is going to 0, also is lower than the deadweight loss is going to 0 because of this f term here.